Welcome back, Roughnecks. Ragnor.
Roughnecks!
This video was actually meant to be up before Christmas, but due to it being Christmas, things took priority, and before I knew it, I just didn't have time to get this video out. A bout of illness also helped in delaying the release of this video, so apologies for the massive delay on this video for anyone who was waiting for it. But with that said, I hope you all had a great Christmas if you celebrate it, and if not, then I still hope you enjoyed the winter break. With us being well and truly into winter, I thought this would be the perfect time to make the custom I've been waiting to do. I have quite the backstory for this custom too, which I will delve into for you guys, so without any further delay, let's get into this video. I've shown the Theron many times, so I won't go into the figure too much. The only difference between this figure and the previous ones I've shown is literally just the colour of the armour. This is the Savage Theron from the Gears 3 games, and the colour of the armour fits very well with what I have planned. Originally I was going to paint the armour, but I think keeping it as it is worked for the better. This long shot was a spare I had from the Gears Tactics Disciple figure. It's actually bigger than the NECA long shot, and turned out to be too big for the Theron to hold. As this Theron is going to be stationed on Mt Kadar in the depths of winter, it makes sense that he would hunt animals and use the fur to keep himself warm. So I have a mixture of different fabrics to see what I can do to give this Theron that winter look, from basic fleece all the way to this real fluffy bit that looks awesome and feels really soft. I also have this snow-like effect paint from Citadel, which I've never used before, and I can't wait to see how it looks. I had an idea of what I wanted, but no idea of how to do it, so I had to play around with the fabrics to see what worked and where. So the idea for this Theron is that he becomes one of RAAM's most highly trusted generals, standing at the same rank as the Theron Elite from the RAAM Shadow DLC. He showed great tactical knowledge and was deadly accurate with the longshot. This grabbed RAAM's attention, who, due to his tactical advantage compared to any other Locust, positioned him on Mt Kadar. He was tasked with defending the Locust home entrance, while also hunting down stranded outposts and settlements around the area. He positioned a large Locust force all over Mt Kadar and had a very tactical and defensive strategy planned that would squash any kind of attacking force. The day Delta attacked and moved up Kadar is the same day the Theron leads a squad of Locusts to take down a stranded settlement, leaving his subordinate in charge while away. Delta's attack could have gone completely different had this Theron been in position when they attacked, but due to his absence, Delta's attack was a success, which led to the end of Nexus. This caused the Theron to go slightly insane, and while the majority of his force was killed by Delta, those that survived and fled were hunted down and brutally killed by this Theron. With his insanity gone, he blamed them for the loss of Nexus and classed them all as traitors. I guess I never recorded me adding the fabric, but this is 90% of the work complete. I added the two different grey toned fabrics to the waistband and shoulder pads while adding the fluffy fabric to the back as a cape. Due to his accuracy, I thought it would be interesting for him to have a unique helmet and lens that would offer him a variety of options to help him hunt and fight during any kind of weather or obstacle. Kind of like the Predator helmet, offering multiple options of vision. He could use a thermal-like vision mode to help during low visibility or during blizzards, especially seeing as how he is stationed on Mt Kadar, and many other modes that would aid him in battle and hunting down stranded. I also painted a red crystal on the centerpiece of his chest, more so as a show of rank and worth to RAAM and the Locust Horde. Earlier I showed I had a Citadel snow paint. It's actually called Technical Valhallan Blizzard, and it's supposed to dry and look like snow. And seeing as how this Theron would be standing in snow and fighting during blizzards and general snowfall, this seemed like the perfect time to try this out. I have this tool, again from Citadel, which helps spread this type of paint. I use it too on a paint I have for dried mud. After applying it to the figure, I use either side of the tool to spread the snow around and to shuffle it to give it the look of naturally settled snow, forming on certain areas of the armour. When you walk in lots of snow, you also have bits of snow stuck on your boots, so I wanted to really give the look that this guy has been walking around in the snow and walking in all types of stormy and blizzard-like weather. So I cover all the open areas of armour and try to get to the areas I feel that snow would naturally go. I was toying with the idea of placing some snow on the fabric, but wasn't sure if it would look good or ruin what I had, so I decided against it. It doesn't really take anything from the final look, but it is certainly noticeable. I think if the snow were to be added and looked good, it would certainly add a lot to the figure. But maybe I'll come back to it if I have a test a bit of fabric to see how the snow would look. But this is how it looks so far with the snow dried, and it certainly does give the figure the appropriate look. So this figure was basically complete, but I didn't like the way the cape looked on the back with the exposed black fabric being visible, so I decided to add a second cape. Originally, this was going to be a hood attached to the cape, but I couldn't get it to look good, and all attempts I had looked really silly and would have ruined the final look I had. So I decided to just go with a secondary cape that the Theron can use to shield his face if the weather got too bad, or he needed some extra cover. I cut a small piece of fabric off and shape it and then add some glue and attach it to the black fabric that is exposed. I re-glue certain areas that need it to help hold the fabric down, and once it's dried, it's pretty solid in place. The long shot I had earlier was from the Storm Collectibles figure line and belonged to the Disciple figure from Gears Tactics. I said that it turned out to be too big for the Theron, and so I had to get a NECA one. And once again, another shout out to LJ. Seems to be a bit of a collab channel at this rate, the amount of shout outs this guy's getting, but he was able to set me up with this one, and I really appreciate it, so thank you once again. I didn't need to add any paint, just the snow effect along the top and sides of the weapon. Because he's out in the open in snow, so it makes sense his gun would be covered in snow. After the snow dried, there were some areas that the paint faded, so I retouched up certain areas while puffing out some more on the shoulder plates. I decided to add a little bit to the lens and gemstone. And with those little extra touch-ups, this custom is complete. Thank you once again for joining me. This has been a custom I've been wanting to make for a long time, as I came up with this character years back. It didn't turn out 100% how I had pictured and wanted, but I'm still happy with how this turned out, and seeing as how I don't really have any tools for fabric slicing, gluing is really all I can do. And with that in mind, again I'm happy with it, and I'm especially happy with the Valhalla Blizzard paint and how well it looks when dried. It's an effect that really sells this as a winter styled Theron, as opposed to just having white paint splashed all over it in certain areas. Now the festive period is done and we are all back to reality and business as usual, I'm hoping to be able to get a bit more content out. I'm hoping to start a new series to go along with my custom figures where I show off my collection and go into a bit of detail about the items being shown. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, please stay tuned. And if not, then I'm also looking at doing some figure reviews. I have a large NECA and Storm collection as well as some pre-order Storm collectibles waiting to be released. So don't forget to like, subscribe and all that jazz, if you like. And once again, thank you for your time, and as always, stay safe.